Cikini has long been a point of culinary development in Jakarta, even since the colonial period. Along with the variety of Chinese restaurants in this prominent area, one restaurant actually offers Chinese-inspired dishes. A bold move that deserves appreciation and, of course, further attention. I'm food expert Kevin Dasumantri. Come taste the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Only on See Indonesia.
So the relation between Chinese cuisine and Indonesian cuisine is undeniably important, because Chinese cuisine is one of only few foreign cuisines that builds the foundation of Indonesian cuisine as we know today. As a city of traders and business and of importance of more than 300 years, Chinese people that reside in Jakarta has contributed to the diversity of Chinese food in this capital of Indonesia. The Chinese cuisine that we have in Jakarta is not only from the mainland of China, but also from the Chinese Indonesian community from all over Indonesia. But if I go to Chinese restaurant in Jakarta, I will expect three things: the conviviality, the vibrancy, and of course, the heartwarming cooking of Chinese kitchen. Some of the oldest restaurants in Jakarta are actually Chinese restaurants. From those in the northern side of Jakarta, like Sew Acap, and also like Kopi Estaki, but also in the Menteng area, which is in Cikini like Paramon, Restoran Trio, and Bakmi Gondang Dia, or known as Bakmi Godila. Some of the Chinese restaurants in Menteng or Cikini area, they started since the colonial time. One of them is Restoran Trio that's still standing. They used to have what we call as Cahaya Kota, or the Tungkong restaurant. But the other Chinese restaurant, they started after the World War II. Today, I'm going to one of my dearest places in Jakarta, which is Cikini, strolling around on this iconic neighborhood with my stomach hungry. Unlike other destinations in Cikini, today I'm going to Po Supperklab, which is a modern Chinese contemporary establishment. Po Supperklab for me is a special place because the restaurant is there to offer modern take of Chinese cookery in a district that is brimming with culinary legends of Chinese cuisine repertoire. The first dish that I'm having is the Po Supperklab's interpretation of a classic mapo tofu. The mapo tofu at Po Supperklab has an eclectic flavor profile. The spicy Szechuan broth somehow goes well with the pungent travel oil. Snow mushroom was crunchy, balancing the silky tofu. What interesting about Po Supperklab's mapo tofu is the thickness of the sauce, because the sauce consists of 3 different kinds of fermented beans, hence the texture is creamy. But what also interesting is the usage of travel oil. Travel oil is not something familiar when you combine with Chinese cuisine, but here they somehow brilliantly managed to combine them into an intoxicating exotic flavor. So my impression for Po Supperklab mapo tofu is that this is a gateway to understand more that Po Supperklab is not your ordinary Chinese restaurant. By eating mapo tofu that I just tasted, it gives me a better understanding of the exciting flavor that comes after this menu.
See the beauty only on See Indonesia. See the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Po Supperklab is not your ordinary Chinese restaurant because first, it's located in one of the oldest districts in Jakarta, which is the colonial district of Cikini, but also the interior of the ambience. Because Po Supperklab somehow resembles the humility of the Chinese eatery, but also it marries the sobriety of American tavern. The second dish that I'm having in Po Supperklab is steamed grouper with 3 different kinds of sauces. One is the Hong Kong style, the iconic one. And the 2 other sauces is the black indica sauce and the madam curry sauce. The steamed fish with Hong Kong style sauce, it's so classic that the sauce is subtle, but it is fragrant, with the spring onion and fried shallots on top of it. What's interesting about the sauce of madam curry is the flavor combination out of it, because somehow it reminds you of the depthness of Thai curry, but it has this distinct sourness that turned out to be comes from Japanese yuzu. But also it has the same creaminess that you think it is a coconut milk, but it is actually European cooking cream. So the sauce is a combination of Asian and Western flavor in one bite.
Hello, Kevin. How are you?
Babas, how are you? Good.
Hi, I'm good. How's the food?
So good.
Thank you.
So far, so good.
Thank you.
I love this. What is it, black indica? What is
Yep.
it? Today, I'll be accompanied by Chef Rian, which is the chef and co-owner of Po Supperklab. Although I really adore this humble, simple, steamed, white fish. You
Yep.
cannot go wrong with that.
Yep.
But
Sure.
this black indica,
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know, it's sour, it's something familiar, it's complex, it's
Umami.
sweet, umami. What is this? What is it made from?
Basically, it's indica. It's a tamarind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we mix it with ginger and then all that kind of herbs. And then I prefer a fried fish for this.
Yeah, I can imagine this.
Yep, to complement the oily.
Yes.
And then you put it this. It's gonna be a refreshing palate.
Yes, I can imagine. You mean you have this crispy and oily thing, and then you have this sour and sweet from the tamarind.
Yep.
But I love the concept. This restaurant. I grew up within this area, and I'm kind of familiar with Cikini. But who knew that one day this your restaurant like crammed in between the old establishment and old building of Cikini and how do you? I'm still puzzled. Like, how do you find your interest in twisting classic Chinese dish with modernity? Like what you are doing here is kind of bold and brave.
Yep.
I would say.
I grew up in a Chinese family where all the boys doesn't go to the kitchen at all.
Yeah.
So when I finished high school, and then I took a culinary school, and then when I went back to Jakarta, then I go into the kitchen. I saw my mom's cooking, but it's a very traditional dish. And then I always give her an opinion, like, why don't put this, why don't put that, but mom.
No, you can't touch my food. Right?
Yep. This is the good one. This is the best one. This is the best recipe. So from there, I try to innovate with my mom's recipe, but then I tweak it, use another ingredient, And then one of the partners now, Banjo, tried my first explored
Chinese food.
Chinese twist, Chinese crazy food, and then he said that it might work because no one do that at the moment.
Yeah, when I tasted that, I was like, oh, this is like it might have kind of a Thai kind of curry.
Yep.
Right?
So
you're 100% Chinese. You're more like exploratively eclectic.
Yep.
Chinese.
Inspired.
Chinese.
Just inspired. Yeah. So this curry reminds you of a Thai curry.
Yeah.
But we twist it with a yuzu juice.
Yeah. So that's why Japanese influence also come in.
Yep. So we don't want to break through a really out of the box menu. We need something to resemblance to your brain first. Yeah. Like I tried this before. But we need another twist. Yeah. To remind you, our food is different.
But one thing I also realized from the previous menu also is the freshness of the ingredients. I mean, like this fish, do you bring the fish every day? How's the? You also have this tuna, right?
Yep.
From the fisherman.
Yep. So we have this one friend. Yeah. He has an unusual job. Yeah. Nowadays. Yeah. He's a fisherman. Okay. So we chit chat a lot, and then he said to me that I can bring a lot of locally sourced fish from Ambon and Maluku. Would you like to try that? Yes. And then he always bring a lot of fish to us. From there, and then I told him like, I can make a seasonal menu from here. And then he always texts me, okay, like, why don't we collab together? I bring all the fish, what I can, and then you make something out of it. So last month we had this event. We call it Pier 37.
Oh, I think I saw that on your Instagram.
Yep.
Like the total celebration of seafood. Right?
Seafood, right. So he brought us ikan opa, the gigantic fish. And then he brought us ikan setan. We call it ikan setan. It's like a halibut, and then the face just like setan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Devilish. How do you think the market responded to this kind of approach, especially in this iconic district?
Yep. For me and Banjo, we are really scared if we have a family crowd, because it's really hard
the old lady and then the grandpa.
Yep, it's really hard to satisfy them.
It's kind of remind me with a book that I read about these restaurants. Two restaurants in the US. It's called Mr. Chinese Food and then the Mr. Jew, which that's crazy. Like you guys, like opening.
We're trying to be like them.
That's a good benchmark. I mean, like how they open this sudden like modern Chinese restaurant, not in this place like this, but in the Chinatown. But I think I get what you guys aim for Po Supperklab.
I have something special for you.
Oh, what is that?
Yeah, it's still off the menu. Usually I just give it to my best friend.
Okay, then I'm your best friend. Okay, but I can't wait. Bye-bye.
Okay, wait.
Yeah. Oh, what is that?
This is a tuna jaw.
Oh, good lord. Look at that.
Yeah, so we roast it with sambal XO.
I love that. I love sambal XO.
Yep, and then we put it chili oil on top of it. And then we roast it in an Apollo oven. Usually Apollo oven for
Peking duck.
Peking duck, yeah. So we upgrade it. We make a tray inside of it, and then we just put it there.
I'm speechless. Look at the meat and then the fat. And how do I have to eat this? I mean, show me your way to eat this.
Okay. This is the best part. You have to try to find where's the bone. Yeah. And then find a meat itself.
Usually, when it gives you effort to find the dish, it tastes better.
Tastes better. But
okay. Oh, I can smell that.
Yep.
Okay.
Enjoy, Kev.
Thank you so much, Babas.
No
Thank
worries.
you so much.
No worries. Thank you.
The taste of the tuna jaw was very strong and smoky, bold in flavor, yet undeniably addictive, thanks to the XO sauce that grilled on top of it. It is very umami, it's kind of sweet, it's kind of salty, it's very addictive. If you expect tuna jaw would be fatty and oily, like otoro or chutoro, then you're wrong. Because tuna jaw, it's very bold, it's very strong in flavor, and that's why it's very unique on its own. My impression with Po Supperklab's menu is a very exciting Chinese restaurant. It's not your mom and pop traditional Chinese restaurant. It is something new, it is something exciting, it is something I really ask all of you to taste and try.
See the beauty only on See Indonesia. See the beauty only on See Indonesia.
The best way to end your amazing meals at Po Supperklab is by tasting the concoction of the craftsmanship of the cocktails. Turn out to be, Po Supperklab is not standing by its own. The bar, they're collaborating with Gloomy Sunday from Bandung. What I like from Po Supperklab, they understand that somehow Chinese food pairs well with alcohol, usually arak. But here, they try to combine it with artisanal craftsmanship cocktail instead of arak. The bar section at Po Supperklab is very unique and distinctive because it's unlike any bars that you can find in the big city like Jakarta. Somehow, the bar resembles like a sacred corner in some of the temple. So Mas Thanos nih, kita mau bikin apa ini? What
Kita nih buat Mas nih spesial, kita punya hot cocktail.
Ya.
Jadi namanya Jai Guru Deva Om. Basically dia bourbon.
Jai Guru
Deva Om.
Oh, Indian inspired gitu ya?
Iya, mungkin kalau itu kayak judul lagu mungkin ya kalau didengar. Dia basically kita pakainya bourbon.
Oke.
Sama kita punya homemade herb spice.
Ya. Oh, homemade spice juga di blend sendiri. Oh.
Iya, basically dia ada 15 herbs. Di antaranya kita pakai kapulaga.
Yes.
Terus kita pakai jahe merah,
Ya.
cengkeh, black pepper dan lain-lain sih. Gitu.
Ini very South Asian
Iya.
influence ya.
Influence kan karena kenapa kita bikin cocktail di sini karena Chinese itu identik banget kan. Kalau makan sambil minum teh hangat tuh lumayan identik.
Betul.
Dengan cupping yang seperti ini kita mau cari experience baru aja buat tamu-tamu di sini.
Sebetulnya hot cocktail itu apakah itu something common, udah umum atau ini something yang invention?
Di Jepang umum, di sini kayak masih lumayan belum terlalu.
Belum kebanyakan.
Iya.
Oh. Itu gimana tuh hot cocktail? Karena setahuku ya, it's when you heat the alcohol, dia kan bakal evaporate. Kan? Gitu.
As soon disip with this pasti nggak bakal terlalu ini sih. Makanya
gitu.
enaknya setelah dibuat langsung diminum. Nah ini kita tambahin si house blend tea kita nih. Dia basicnya green tea, terus kita tambah ada beberapa bahan lain, kayak ada cengkeh dan lain-lain gitu. Ginger dan vanilla juga.
Looks sama presentationnya really like Chinese tea ya.
Iya.
Pot semua.
Karena emang mau cari experience di situ kan, berhubung karena bisa sharing juga untuk lebih dari 2 orang.
Yes.
Sama nge-counter juga nih untuk rasa-rasanya si makanan Chinese kan kental banget tuh.
Betul.
Kuat. Oke. Ini kayak gini deh.
Wow.
Oke. Silahkan dicoba. Untuk full experience-nya kita biasanya kita bakarin gyo.
Oh. This is fun.
Ya.
Jadi dapat the aroma and then the taste. Yeah, got it. So ini langsung ya?
Iya, boleh dicoba, disip aja.
Sip ya. It's like drinking a tea.
Iya, dia lebih anget. Herbs-nya lumayan kenceng.
This is so good. Oh, this is really good. It is very, very comforting ya.
Iya.
It's very comforting the spice-nya. Jadi tadi memang alkoholnya nggak langsung dibakar ya?
Iya,
You
cuma just mix it.
mix it with the hot tea.
Iya.
Gitu, right? Even the bourbon ya, bourbonnya jadi very light, nggak dominate. Ada tea-nya. Tea-nya tuh ada apa aja berarti di sini?
Kita untuk specialty punya 3, tapi untuk khusus ini kita pakai ginger. Ginger vanilla namanya.
Oke.
Dia pakai ginger, black tea, cengkeh, kayu manis, sama kita blend terus jadi satu produk teh.
Oh, no wonder ginger vanilla match banget sama bourbon kan.
Iya.
It's kayak caramel.
Iya.
Something. Oh, it's so good.
Jadi dia nggak nahan si bourbonnya, tetap ada taste-nya tapi di
Iya.
tone down sedikit
Di-tone
biar
down,
nggak terlalu nyaru. Tapi kalau banyak juga sebenarnya lumayan. Oke sih.
Yeah. But then after this you have another cocktail.
Ya, mungkin temannya dia yang bakal rilis sebentar lagi nih. Kita punya bitter beats boring tuh.
Bitter beats boring.
Iya.
Oh. The second cocktail that I'm having is the bitter beats boring. What a name named by Po Supperklab, which is consists of gin, bourbon, and crafted tropical syrup. And not to mention Indonesian kind of kecombrang.
Untuk ngebalancein rasanya, kita tambahin si lemon juice.
Oh, lemon juice.
Iya.
Itu house made lemon juice juga.
Iya. Kebetulan kita untuk lemon juice fresh.
Oh, that's nice.
Dan homemade nih si tropical syrup kita.
Oh, it's cocktail syrup.
Iya.
Oh, dibuat dari apa aja itu?
Basicnya kita untuk si tropical ini, kita punya orange juice fresh.
Iya.
Kita blended, kita campur sama pineapple.
Oke. Very tropical ya?
Iya, karena yang mau dicari taste-nya nggak terlalu acid,
Iya.
nggak terlalu manis juga kan.
Iya.
Oke, untuk jadi gini mas, untuk menambah rasanya nih,
Iya.
kita pakein kecombrang nih.
Oh,
sedikit.
fresh kecombrang
Fresh
ya?
kecombrang.
Fresh kecombrang. Oh, that's
Kita
so
tambahin kira-kira dikit lah 10 sampai 11.
Ya.
Muddling.
Yeah. Unlike the cocktail before, this is served cold. But the flavor is light, it's kind of subtle and refreshing, yet complex with the spicy note in the back of your palate. Oh, this is very easy drinking
Iya.
cocktail ya. Kayak I can imagine, saya bisa bayangin ini dimakan bareng kayak steamed fish
Iya.
or anything gitu ya. And then it's just easy cocktail.
Buat di pairing sama makanan pun enak kan karena dia light.
Light, yes. Terus agak-agak sedikit
Sour.
yes, sour, more like a refresh note gitu kan. Oh, so nice. Po Supperklab shows us that an ordinary classical cuisine can actually be made exciting and daring if you have the needed boldness and creativity. Well, I think it's time for Cikini to be awoken from its years of slumber, to be once again Jakarta's most exciting spot to eat and drink.